Because if we rely on the admiration for all these people we don't care for, then we allow these outside people to decipher our happiness. And we may believe that we never have a mission in life, but it will come. Time will tell what your mission is. This is called being invulnerable. And that's a key message I want to get through to you here. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the idea of Stoicism and the idea of being invulnerable in any possible scenario, no matter the good or bad. And in this video, I'm also going to be looking at some notes as it guides me through, but there's going to be much more free-flowing video, and I hope this speech helps you understand the idea and what it brings. So, in the country Cyprus in 300 BC, there lived a wealthy merchant named Zeno. And on a voyage, his boat sunk and he lost all his goods and possessions. Now, Zeno survived, however, lost all of his cargo and life's work in a boat accident that was completely out of his control. This unfortunately left him poor, but how did he react? Was it out of anger, melancholy, frustration? For most people at home, these are the emotions you'd feel in this situation. However, for Zeno, he acted in a much different way. You see, the definition of Stoicism is acceptance and indifference. As humans, we hate change, and that's why the product of our reactions are often negative. And Zeno studied the ideas of famous philosophers like Socrates and learned this idea of Stoicism and kind of bred it into existence. And it's the idea of remaining calm in all situations. And we don't have much control over what happens to us, but we do in fact have control over how it affects us. So instead of complaining his problems to others, he instead remained level-headed, calm, and neutral. So over many millennia, we've learnt that Stoics are classified as being unbroken and do not waver to any emotional extremes, whether the good or the bad. Now, Stoicism isn't just an emotional understanding, it's also a psychological understanding, and I'll explain what I mean by that. The difference comes where these negative emotions are felt during these negative circumstances, and this can help reshape our thoughts, ideas, perspectives, and viewpoints about the world we live in. I want to tell you a story about an English writer named Alan Watts, about a Chinese farmer, and it goes just like this. Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all of his neighbours came around to commiserate. They said, "We are sorry to hear your horse has run away. This is most unfortunate." The farmer said, "Maybe." The next day the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening everyone came back and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. You now have 8 horses." The farmer again said, "Maybe." The following day his son tried to break one of the horses, and while riding it, he was thrown off and broke his leg. The neighbours then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." And the farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers for the war came around to conscript people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. Again, all the neighbours came around and said, "Isn't that great?" Again, the farmer said, "Maybe." He noted that the whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it's really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad. Because you never know what will be the consequence of misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequences of good fortune. Emotions tend to get in the way of things. We don't complain about the bad things, but instead the bad things that come unexpectedly. We don't cry when it rains because we expect rain to come. This is called being invulnerable, and that's the key message I want to get to you here. And this is the saying that you can't control the weather came to be. Now, with the unrealistic expectations from society that they perceive for us, it's hard to please everyone in the world. However, Stoics believe that we cannot falter our emotions due to outside threats because we want to aim and act accordingly through unity and trust with other people. Instead, they tend to focus on continual improvement and fulfillment. Because if we rely on the admiration for all these people we don't care for, then we allow these outside people to decipher our happiness. instead of placing the judgment of how well an Instagram post went, let's not focus on the likes, views, subscribers, comments, both negative or bad, that we all get. Instead, we need to focus on how much effort we put in to the posts, whether it's any social media platform. So we must focus on how much effort we put in and how much enjoyment came out of it. And not for others, but us personally. Because if you put trust in yourself personally to enjoy it, then other people slowly and gradually decide to follow in your footsteps. Now, there are four main virtues of Stoicism, and that comes with wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom allows Stoics to acknowledge both the internal and external forces that are applied to us day to day, and then we can hence determine how we must react to these circumstances, whether they're outside threats or the inside threats that we can continue to pursue. Basically, our dreams. Now, the next value is courage, and that's broken down to persist and resist. Persist with our beliefs and then resist outside threats that want to detain them. And then our third one is temperance. Temperance is the ability to do more with less that we have. And the key focus we have to bring up here is the idea of minimalism. You can have all the wealth you want and have in the world, but if you can learn to live in others' shoes with minimalizing the materialistic things we own, we can then begin to live a life generally with more fulfillment and promise, both from our loved ones and also with ourselves. Now, temperance is a really important one because I find the idea of, that lifestyle of living in a van and traveling around the world with as least and little amount of material possession we could possibly have. And that's a key idea I want to bring along here, because no matter the success we have or the lessons that failure gives us, we must learn to live by all basic means necessary. Now, the last virtue I want to bring here is justice, and this is commonly the most important one. It acts as the anchor of this notion that I'm trying to bring to people and demonstrate to you. But it's the idea of not bringing harm to others and doing good for one another, not just for ourselves. And I think everyone in life needs to perform gratitude, and this idea of justice is gratuitous, whatever the word is, of how we must live within ourselves and bring a means to others by doing good for one another. Now, of course, this is easier said than done. Life accommodates many successes and failures, but it's the idea of acting on them that we must come to light. Life comes with many challenges, however, we must bring a mission that we may not know yet. And we may believe that we never have a mission in life, but it will come. Time will tell what your mission is. As I always say, my mission is to demonstrate, I think, personal finance and the ideologies of the ideas that I bring to the table to millions of people. Now, this is very philosophical, but I think bringing ideas and demonstrating learnings and education is one of the key instances in life that everyone in life brings. Now, this may be waffle now, but education is taught by everyone and received by everyone. However, the saying more give, less take means that the more education I provide for people through the content of YouTube and Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, I want to also receive the education where I can produce more for everyone. Now, no matter if it hails or rains, we must pick ourselves up and continue on with our futures, because everything in the past was meant to be. However, we want to all bring a brighter future for everyone, and my mission may be to push education to you guys. And I don't want to accept defeat prematurely, because I believe that everything in life and everyone is brought here for a reason. Now, this is an idea that Tyson Fury, a world champion boxer, brought to me. It's that our stories are already written to stone early on. And if we continue to work hard through longevity and through all the failures that may come, it will lead to a more successful and happier life. As long as we turn up and put just that little bit of extra effort in. All these outside matters we can't control, but it's what you can control that actually does matter. Now, you may think it doesn't matter by putting in that little bit extra effort, because ultimately, for me personally, the YouTube algorithm ultimately handles everything that happens through views, likes, and all that. However, putting content out that I enjoy and I think others will enjoy can boost the odds in both my favour and with your own goals and aspirations yourselves. It's pushing the odds in your favour. We can't think 5 years ahead in the future. We need to worry about every step we take, because if we take every single step slowly, ultimately we don't even know what will happen in 5 years' time. Who knows at this present moment what I will be or you will be 5 years from now? I think it's a stupid question, because in job interviews they always ask, what do you see yourself doing in a decade, or what will you be doing? It's very dependent. It's very relative on who you are. And although it's relative, we don't know what it is for us. We could be doing completely different things. Now, actually, when people sign up to the gym, they sign up not on New Year's Eve. It's a New Year's Eve resolution. And they always aspire in a year's time to have this changed and transformed body. However, they never take the first step. It's either they don't sign up, or they don't see results and perceive that as failure. Within 2 weeks, they quit. I've been doing this for 7 months now. I wouldn't say it's been full time, but I'm putting effort in. I haven't gone the extra mile yet, but I will. Time will tell. And maybe, just for you and me, 5 years from now, we'll all have the dreams we aspire to have. And that's the ultimate goal we all want, because life is filled with questions and the future remains unsolved. Yet, we can't, in this present day, think that putting that little bit extra effort in, day to day, step by step, hour by hour, we can be something better. Now, as we conclude this video, I want to let an idea, a notion that I want to grasp at, simmer in your mind for a little bit. And that idea is that everything has an end. And the journey has just begun. This has been Hayden. I'm out.